to test the accuracy of information put in front of you? Might need some mic running. Got one over there. Excellent. Thank you.
Hi, Jeff here. One thing that we talked about on the way through was that it's very hard to treat these 6 areas independently.
Yeah, it's tricky.
They are
I get you.
linked. However, we can come
Yeah.
up with some specific ones. And one thing that came out was, in terms of accuracy, is it from a single source of information or are there multiple sources which support this statement?
Beautiful, beautiful. Well done. Great job. I think I had one over here somewhere, did I? Yeah, Greg. And then I had, was there somebody up the back there? Excellent. Can we get a mic over here? So Greg, you go.
In terms of accuracy, we actually thought if we've got someone presenting to us what their findings were, that we could actually ask them where they got their information from, and if there's other people that can back up what they're actually telling us and give them their names.
Excellent. Terrific. Yeah. So again, kind of a little bit about sources. Show us what the other sources are of this evidence. Brilliant. Great. Yes, hello.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Yeah, mostly what the other guys said, where the data was from, the credentials of the person themselves.
The credentials. Yeah. What are your credentials? And again, you're not asking this like, what are your credentials? No. This is kind of, it's respectful. We just need to know where you're coming from. What basis are you basing this on?
Really the facts. Where are the facts coming from that they're using?
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Rachel. All right, there's some excellent oh, another one over here. Excellent. Thanks, Kim. Peter?
Hi, Peter. We as a group actually struggled in terms of accuracy because we went straight to the economics of the process. And there is no existing history on how they've made the economic assumptions encompassed in the Commission report.
Yep.
So we would want to question how they arrived at the assumptions, because they are only assumptions.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell us how you assumed that. Why did you assume that, and where's your evidence? Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Peter. All right, accuracy. That's a great list. Let's quickly move to, let's do clarity. No, we'll do some clarity. Yeah, thanks, Huff. Great, we've got one up the back here. Thanks, Viv. I'm just scanning the room for some extra clarity. I'm scanning the room for some extra clarity. Go ahead. Yes. Just say your name so I can learn as we go.
Me?
Yes.
Marcel, we wanted to have an example, say, of the impacts of a storage facility in relation to existing industries, such as agricultural and those sorts of things.
So clarity, making sure you're getting a better sense of the whole and how that fits together. Beautiful. Great. Fantastic. Thank you.
Hello. My name's David.
David.
Oh, you can hear it.
Yeah.
With clarity, I think it goes both ways. You have to know the question and be specific, and with that comes study. Try and be clear with what the question is.
Yeah. Yeah. So you as the questioner need to be clear as well.
And know the subject, what you're asking about.
Yeah. Or if you don't, just say, I don't know, can somebody help me with the clarity on this? Or I'll try this question and see how I go. But be as clear as you can. That's nice, looking at it from both angles. Thanks, David. Yes, up the back here, this lady in blue. Thanks, Mel.
Like when a statement is vague or fuzzy, I sit back, there's going to be a lot of long words and geographical...
Yes.
I'd like to ask the question, can you put that in layman's terms?
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I heard a little clap over there. It's Gloria, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, clarity can actually be about simplifying the language so that all of us can understand what you're talking about. Excellent. Great. Yes, over here, sir. Come in.
My name's Fuzzy.
Fuzzy, that's right. I was
Which is very good because it says when a statement is vague or fuzzy on my card.
I love it.
I think it's important not to be ashamed of being ignorant and to admit that you don't understand what somebody's talking about.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a tendency not to want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, and that kind of links to what David was saying about being clear. I don't know, but I'm asking this because I think it might be important. And that's being clear. Terrific. Great. Any other last clarity? Great. Fantastic.
Hi, name is Costas.
Thanks,
We had a couple of things. What led you to that conclusion was a question that you'd ask.
Yeah.
And did you consider any other factors, and what were they?
Yeah.
And finally, if your view has changed, what was the trigger?
Oh, beautiful. So, what led you to this conclusion? I missed the one in the middle.
Did you consider any other factors?
Did you consider any other factors? And if you changed your view, yeah, why? Beautiful. Great. Okay. Clarity. Oh, one over here. Excellent.
Hi, my name's Jeff. I wasn't actually in the Clarity group, but I'm going to break out of my boundary.
Nice work.
We're going to be expected to absorb a lot of scientific information over the next few periods. And if I can be politically incorrect, a lot of scientists are very dry and don't have a lot of human skills. But there are scientists who cross that border,
Yes.
such as Professor Brian Cox
Yeah.
and Carl Krusniewski.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see some input from those kind of people who can get their messages across, even though they're deeply scientific.
Yeah. So you're wanting some good communicators. Yeah. Terrific. So again, that's about clarity, being able to communicate very scientific stuff well. Yeah. Great. All right. Clarity. Let's move on to logic. Logic is a tricky one. Who is in the logic group who'd like to share some thinking? Fabulous, up the back there. Thank you. And we've got one there, over there. We'll just go here first.
Yeah, logic was actually pretty tricky, but we thought, what are the underlying assumptions in the research? Is it possible that there are other outcomes that haven't been considered? And how can we believe in the science that isn't proven?
Yeah.
So there's no precedence for it?
Yeah, so this hasn't led to that. Yeah, it's not logical. Fantastic. Yes. Anthony?
Yep,
Yeah.
thank you. So just extending on, we sort of found some core words and then put the questions around the words. So it was, the questions would be framed with like how or with what, or what is your experience, so to speak. And so it was extending on from the evidence that's about facts and then the process. So what was your process to come to that conclusion? And what was your experience or knowledge and education?
Process, experience, knowledge and education. So all the bits that lead up to that conclusion. Fact-checking. Terrific. Great. Thanks, Mel. Yes.
Hi, it's Tricia.
Hi, Tricia.
We had trouble with this.
Yeah.
If something is safe, why is it being put in a remote position?
So there was a core question that is to the nub of the question you raised. If it's safe, why do we tuck it away? Okay. Nice. Thanks.
Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
We had a view of looking at what someone might say, and if it doesn't add up or doesn't seem consistent, to us to explain why there's a gap, but to justify what their reasoning is. And if something doesn't seem to be consistent, to actually ask the question, can you explain why A doesn't seem to relate to B? To looking at, if we're going to have different views, maybe asking one of the other experts to explain perhaps why this other view isn't held. So that was a question, if we're looking at experts, will we have experts with different views on the same topic that we could ask them to perhaps highlight why there are gaps?
Yeah, to kind of give you breadth around this. Yeah, terrific. To give you the options, the different
So the main
views.
one was if there's something doesn't seem to add up, to ask questions about, can you explain why this gap seems to be there?
Yeah, why the gap or inconsistency. Terrific. Thanks, Andrew. Okay, let's move to breadth. Breadth. Breadth is all about understanding the complexities that sit around an issue. Yes?
Yeah, this is going to be a bit difficult because we spent more time thinking about what we'd ask ourselves rather than what the questions we know. The question we'd ask the other person, the presenter, would be, well, what other circumstances would have led you to the same conclusion? What other circumstances might have led you to a completely different conclusion.
Yeah. So actually asking the question about circumstances.
Yeah.
What circumstances would lead you to this? What
Yeah.
circumstances would lead you to that?
Or the way they put it on the 7:30 report is, and what do you say to your critics? You say that you're a complete idiot.
Say, what was that? I missed the last bit.
They say something along the lines, those people who think you're a complete idiot. Yeah, that's a very polite way they say that.
Very polite.
But the things we'd be asking ourselves is, what does the body language
Can you
look like?
just hold it up a bit so I can hear?
What does the body language look like? Are you illuminating the subject or just obfuscating? Are you trying to lead us somewhere with a PowerPoint presentation? Or could you actually give us a vision of where you think we'll end up?
Oh, what fabulous questions. That's great. Yeah, so you're asking yourselves those sorts of things as well as the speakers. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. All right. And one over here. Yes.
Yeah, my name's Jeff. The most important thing we found was what would your opponents say? We heard your view. What would they say on the subject?
Yeah.
And get the reverse angle from them.
Yeah, get them standing in the shoes of.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Jeff. All right. Oh, one over here, and then we'll move to depth and finish up.
Shane, we went looking at the opposite viewpoint in a couple of ways. One was, you've got a scientific proof of whatever it might be. Is there someone else of science who's got the complete opposite proof? We also looked at the angles that were covered in the Royal Commission. Was there certain parts that were off limits, where you couldn't get the information from people? You might have wanted to get the information but didn't actually get a chance to for whatever reason. And also, have all angles been looked at in terms of have the idiots of the world been taken into consideration? And what we mean by that, terrorism obviously, it only takes one idiot to stuff it up. Has that been looked at?
Yeah, worst case scenario. Yeah, great, terrific. All right, we'll move on. Depth in an issue. Who was dealing with depth? Yes, down here at the front, and then over here, and then down the back. Mel, just so you know, behind you. Yep.
Hello, Bibi here. We thought we would ask what range of factors have been included when coming to your decision. Also, we would like to know more details on how this was achieved, how you came to this conclusion.
Yeah.
And if you're not too sure about the subject matter that you feel that you don't really know what to ask, to just find the how, what, where and why questions, start with that. And just to get more details.
Get more detail, more depth about the issue. How, what, where, when. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, terrific. Great. Thank you. Over here. Yes, sir.
Bert.
Hi, Bert.
We looked at some of the depth issues regarding the generalised statements about other countries wanting to store waste in South Australia. We don't seem to have had a more in-depth analysis regarding the commitment from other countries. And the question we were looking at is, what financial commitments will we have actually regarding other countries storing their waste in South Australia, given the fact that other countries, Finland, Switzerland, South Korea, etc., are actually looking at their own storage.
Yeah, terrific. Great. So quite specific about that whole agreements with other countries. Yes.
We started off our conversation in the context of the question, which is a very, very complex question. So we decided that under the category of depth, you have to start at the foundation of what you're looking at and who you're dealing with. And a few issues of looking at that foundational base was that the nuclear industry as a whole has got a huge problem with trust. So they have an obligation as a foundational starting point to win trust as a starting point before they even inundate us with technology, because they have got a bad reputation. The economics came up in terms of that was the separate side of it, that there needs to be almost a commission in how do you establish the economics, because There is no foundational basis for any of the rationalism. So how do you go into depth when you've got no scientific or economic basis for it?
That came up over there
So that,
as well.
as they said, they link into each other.
Great.
And then the final thing was the word waste in the question. It's not clarified enough.
Yep.
What I know, we're talking predominantly the high dirty end of the high and the intermediate.
Yep.
But it was brought up that, again, the Commission separated military waste, which means the nuclear industry has got two branches now. And how do you earn trust with two branches? You've got to have one nuclear industry that earns trust.
Great. Okay, so some quite specific questions about the economics, the waste, and just that trust factor. That's fantastic. Great. Okay, I'm going to take one more on this side up here, and then I'm going to move to the last one. Yep. Just in the front there, Viv. Yep. This lady just there in the black. Yep.
Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
I just want to raise an issue or a thing around research findings. Evidence-based research is context-specific. It might be the methods that we use, it might be the location, but just to be aware that a good question to ask is, what are the limitations of your study?
Yeah.
And how transferable are your findings?
Yeah.
And all of those questions will relate to research methods and the context of the research that was undertaken.
Yeah.
So
what are the limitations? And the second one was?
Transferability
Transferability of the findings.
Yes,
Great.
to a different context
Terrific.
other than the research context.
Yeah, fabulous. Okay, I'm going to go to the last one, which is relevance. Oh, got a hand right here. I went up really fast. It's highly relevant.
Hello, my name is Beatrice, and I think we can achieve relevance by using the remit as a guideline and just keeping in mind the actual issues and topics on hand, and just asking ourselves or the witnesses the question, is this information actually relevant to the storage or disposal of high-level nuclear waste? So it doesn't pertain to any issues about nuclear power plants or any intermediate level waste. And does the content actually refer to the safety, consent, economics, or trust in regards to our state? So for example, a question that you would ask a witness would be, what guarantee do we have that other countries have the proper intent in storing or disposing their high-level nuclear waste in our state? So that goes under the category trust.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so that goes under the category of trust, and it's relevant to your remit and your question. Fabulous. Relevance over here. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, I'm Tegan. One of the most interesting questions I think we got from our group was the question, is there something relevant about yourself you'd like to tell us that would influence how we take the information you're providing us with?
So you're asking something, about the person that might help with relevance. Fabulous. Terrific. One last relevance down the front here. Terrific.
Thank you, Bridie. We also discussed that we might hear some emotive accounts and that people should ask themselves, whilst this is highly emotive, is it actually accurate and is it advancing the discussion in relation to the question?
Yeah.
So you might hear things about Maralinga, but that's not related to storage. So it's historical, it's not the facts at hand.
Yeah, okay. So kind of using relevance and accuracy to help keep it on topic. Yeah, terrific. In an emotional place. One last one, all right, because Viv's waving her arm around. I know this very relaxed group was sitting at the back, calmly discussing relevance.
We went in a different way regarding relevance, One of our group suggested that, who shall remain nameless, suggested that this was a foregone conclusion. And so we came up with the idea that is this process relevant to the actual outcome? I'll leave with that one.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for raising it. I don't know if this changes anyone's minds, and it won't, but I don't get involved in things that are irrelevant. Okay. So we've got our set of questions. You're primed and ready to go to the rest of the day, which is all about testing the information that's put in front of you. I want to talk about what's going to happen quickly before you go to morning tea. So we have lots of stakeholders coming in. We have at least 13 stakeholder groups, and as you know, you'll be in 3 rooms. So there are 3 representatives, except for 2 groups where we only have 2. There are 3 representatives from each of those stakeholder groups. Before I go into process, I want to talk about how we got those stakeholders, and I'm going to let Emily just go through that process.
Yeah, so we were hoping that Ilka could do this because she has been in charge, it's her job, to connect with all of those witnesses and stakeholders, but guess what? She's down there registering them at the moment. So it falls to me. We just wanted to let you know that sitting around this process, and particularly around today's work, has been a group called the Stakeholder Reference Group. On the front of your witness list in your tab, you will see who is on that group. And they have had really 2 main jobs leading up to the jury. The first job has been to identify the stakeholder perspectives that you're going to hear from today. So you will see that some of the stakeholders who are on the Stakeholder Reference Group are presenting to you today. Some have brought others in and some are not here at all. So there's been a bit of a mixture there, and the goal has always been, how do we get the jury across the multiple perspectives that are important to consider? So that's the first job that Stakeholder Reference Group has had to do. The second one is that they are the group that have worked with ILCA and Democracy Co to populate that big witness list, to get those 170 odd people's names on the list and all their bios and what they can speak to. So it hasn't just been us sitting on our own trying to do our own research and find out who should talk to you about this. We've actually enlisted the army of stakeholders to help us do that and make sure that you get the breadth and the depth and the relevance and the clarity and the accuracy and the, what's the last one? How'd I go? Logic that you need in the next few hours.
Great, thanks Em.
No worries.
So, nearly all rooms, and there are a couple of rooms that won't have reps from a couple of groups, you will have stakeholders from Friends of the Earth, Conservation Council SA, Business SA, SA Chamber of Mines and Energy, SA Unions, Mothers for a Sustainable SA. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this community properly.
It's the Y, the APY.
APY,
Lands.
thank you. Committee for Adelaide, Regional Development Primary Producers, Outback Communities Authority, Nuclear Consultation and Response Agency, Local Government Association and the DECD Youth Forum. So we have some younger people in the room as well. So you're going to go into these 3 rooms. There are 13 reps or thereabouts, 12 to 13. So you're in clusters of about 10 people. There are 13 groups in every room. You will get to hear from and ask questions of the 12 or 13 stakeholders who you have in the room. The key here is that you need to be mindful of your ground rules. These stakeholders come into a room full of people and they're putting themselves out there to share some information with you. Please be respectful of them, but also respectful of your own diversity of views in this process. The aim of this, as I've put it up there, is to explore these perspectives and understand diverse views. I know you can do it. That's our job today. Okay, there are specific rooms that you'll need to go to, which I'm going to explain in a moment, and you'll also need your books and a pen with you, because you're going to be taking copious notes throughout this process. All right. Now, before I explain the rooms, I'm just going to give you a little bit more information, and Emily's hovering over my shoulder.
I am, because there's a bit of live information about practicalities that I know that you don't.
Okay, excellent. So, first of all, when we start talking about these rooms, some of the rooms are best accessed through this door. So this is what I call the east exit from this room. There are also toilets out there. So for those who've been queuing up over here, please use these ones. And it's a great way for you to get familiar with that exit, because you're going to use it a bit today. I know we've talked, there's been a bit of conjecture about the remit and it having the words high level in it. It is intermediate and high level waste that we're dealing with. So I just want to put that on the table so you know that that is the type of waste. Yes, it's part of your remit. Okay, there's a fact check wall. So over here we've created, thank you, my trusty Lavinia Nixons over there. We have a fact check wall. If at any point you have a piece of information that you go, is this accurate? Is this correct? Whatever you want to know about that information, post it up there. It might be from one of your critical thinking questions. Post it up there and somebody, either the stakeholder reference group or somebody else in the room, will put some responses to that. We will make sure you know who that response has come from so you can also check the relevance and clarity of that for you. Okay? So we've got materials over there, big pieces of paper and texters and stuff for you to write those facts up that you would like checked. Okay, last bit of information. We're going to rooms. Do you need to speak at this
Can I
point?
do it?
Sure.
Because it's changed a bit.
Okay.
And I'm worried.
Okay, you do it.
It's a little bit complex. Okay, so the first thing to say to you is that if you do not have a ticket, either a green, yellow or a blue ticket, you are immediately a problem juror. No, I'm only joking. We were trying to get you to register this morning because this ticket tells you where you need to go after morning tea. So if you don't have one of these, you need to have your morning tea downstairs out the front of Hall M where Vivian is, and she will give you a ticket. Okay? If you don't have one, go downstairs, find Viv, have your morning tea while you're down there. If you have a green or a yellow ticket, your morning tea is up here, through those doors. Okay? This is getting complex. And then, after morning tea, you will go down to your rooms, which are on that side of the building. If you have a blue ticket, you are in Hall M, where we've been all the time, where you arrive in. Your morning tea is down there. Okay, so 2 sets of morning tea. 2/3 of the jury are going that way, 1/3 is going down here. So if you've got a blue ticket, back down to Hall M. Interesting, blue ticket, if you have a special meal booked for a dietary requirement, you must be in Hall M today. You need a blue ticket, so you need to trade it with someone. The reason is because we're doing all special meals in one spot. We have a logistical lunch issue, and lunch is being provided for you in these 3 different spots. Okay, so if you're gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever you might be, you need to have a blue ticket and be in Hall M. So Em, to clarify, I had this up, prepared. The only change I can hear is green and yellow tickets go out that door. Green and yellow tickets out that door.
Blue,
and
you go down to Hall M.
The other change is if you don't have a ticket...
I knew that.
Viv.
I was going to say that.
Did you know that? Oh, okay. I thought I was being smart and clever. I'll get out of the way now.
So is that all clear? Anyone not clear? And can I then clarify the next step after morning tea, which is going to be relatively quick, 11 o'clock. We're asking you, blue tickets, you stay in Hall M. Green tickets, you go downstairs, Riverbank's rooms 6 to 8. Yellow tickets, Riverbank rooms 1 to 4. Green and yellow tickets, please exit via the east door.
Okay, hang on. Oh, hang on. One more late notice.
One more late notice, sorry.
Sorry, as far as I'm aware, morning tea will be spread for the groups that are up here. Some of you can go out there, but also there's going to be morning tea wheeled in here.
Yeah.
So we need you to spread out. There's coffee machines.